Hey YouTube, Matty's8012, Team JMT, coming to you guys with my Relinquished Chaos deck. Now, this is the deck that I played at my most recent locals. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of really creative plays are hiding in this deck. Just a lot of fun to play, guys. I can't stress that enough. Let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. You start off with 3 Relinquished. It's a Relinquished deck, so you gotta have Relinquished, right? You get to take control of one of your opponent's monsters. He takes on the attack and defense of that monster. He can do that once per turn. Now, a lot of people playing this deck get confused, thinking that Relinquished is the win condition. Relinquished really isn't the win condition of this deck. It's really just a problematic card for you to make that your opponent has to deal with. Your real win condition and your real boss monsters are right here. Relinquished is not a boss monster, but he's a catalyst that leads into your boss monsters. Now, your boss monsters are, like I said, it's a chaos build, so you have Blackluster Soldier, Chaos Sorcerer. You have a lot of control over the number of darks in your graveyard, so Dark Armed Dragon is almost always live. And then Gorz is what he is. You know, he comes out, brings out the token, and almost always allows you to do 2,700 points of damage the next turn. So those are your beaters. Those are your boss monsters. But yeah, I mean, those are really your win condition. Next, you have Tour Guide of the Underworld. Now, this is a great card by just what it can do on its own, grabbing either another copy of it or Sangin, and make your rank 3 exceeds. What it's able to do in this deck also is grab Jin, Releaser of Rituals. What's great about this card is if it is used for the cost of a ritual summon, your opponent cannot special summon while that ritual monster is face up on the field. So that is great and excels because you can grab it off of Tour Guide. Another effect that it has is if it's in the graveyard, you can remove it from play as the cost for the Black Illusion Ritual, and then summon Relinquished off of it. So now what that does is Relinquished can now grab one of your opponent's monsters, taking on the attack and defense of that monster, and it can prevent your opponent from being able to special summon, which makes that a great card against anything that's really meta. After that, you've got 3 Manju of the 10,000 Hands. What he does is he allows you to grab a ritual spell or a ritual monster, whatever you need at the time, and add it to your hand. Now, this deck loses to Thunder King and loses bad to Thunder King. So I'm main decking 2 Cyber Dragons. 1, I like the beater, and 2, I know you're thinking that he's really not an answer to Thunder King because they're going to tribute their Thunder King to negate his special summon. That's okay with me. As long as I get Thunder King off the board, then I'm okay with them tributing him to negate Cyber Dragon. And if they don't, then I'm just going to run it over. So there you go. I mean, Cyber Dragon is there to do that. Next, I have 2 Effect Veiler. Kind of would have liked to have had that at 3. Might bump that up to 3. Next, traps. I have Solemn Brigade and Solemn Judgment and Double Solemn Warning, Double Trencher Tribute, and Mirror Force. A lot of people cut that trap lineup down a little bit more and just run 3 and run Royal Decrees. Me, however, I like my back row, and that's what I decided to run. I will probably actually try to bump that number up a little bit. A couple things in the deck that I might try to cut. Next, you have your staples: Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Mind Control, Heavy Storm. You all know what those do. I ran Trip MST. My thought was not only can I eliminate my opponent's back row, but I could also, in a situation, MST the monster equipped to Relinquished to take control of a different monster. That never really happened too often for me. Trip MST was not bad, but it just really wasn't that great for me. So probably going to end up dropping one of those. Forbidden Lance was excellent in Game 2. In Game 1, it's good. It allowed my boss monsters to stick around, allowed me to protect my Relinquished. But in Game 2, it was amazing because everybody was bringing in chain disappearances for my Relinquished, and what I was able to do was to lance my Relinquished onto the chain disappearance, and my Relinquished sticks, and being able to stick the Relinquished to the field is just too good, and it makes for a lot of really good plays. But it was so much better in Game 2 than it was in Game 1. So that's actually a card that may move to the side deck, just because I think I might have some better options for Game 1, and then bring that in for Game 2. Scapegoat was a tech card that I tried because the tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon, but they can be tributed for a special summon. So they can be tributed for a ritual summon, like with Black Illusion Ritual. I only run 2 Black Illusion Rituals because that's all you really need. You have several ways of grabbing it, and that's mainly, that's all you really need. Preparation of Rites, I ran 3 of those. There were times that the card was dead, but I really liked having 3. Probably going to leave that at 3. Could possibly bump it down to 2, but it was just really good, and I'm probably going to keep it at 3. Next, you have the extra deck. Number 17, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant. Those were the 2 biggest options for me, because I would go Tour Guide, grab Jin, detach Jin for whichever bonus I'm taking at the time, either Leviathan to 25 or Giga Brilliant to 21. That puts Jin in the graveyard. Then you go Black Illusion Ritual into Relinquished, removing the Jin. Now you have a 2500 beater, a Relinquished, which you're going to take a monster, and your opponent cannot special summon. So that's great. Giga Brilliant is a little bit better. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a little bit better because once you make this play, you have access to 2 darks, and Giga Brilliant is a light. So when Giga Brilliant is destroyed, you'll then have a dark and a light in the graveyard, and you have your Chaos Sorcerer or Blackluster Soldier play. Temtempo, Acid Golem, Leviair, Maestroke, Utopia Ray, and Gaia Dragon because I'm playing Mind Control. Chimeratech Fortress because I'm main decking the 2 Cyber Dragons. Cataster, Bryo, Stardust, Scrap Dragon, and Formula Synchron. Now, I want to explain something with this play. I actually made a really nice play with these cards and Scapegoat. I forgot what monster my opponent had, but I activated Scapegoat to his attack. He ran over 1, left me with 3, and then he had his back row. So he has 1 monster in his back row. I have the 3 tokens. What I ended up doing was normal summoning Effect Veiler, synchroing with a token to make Formula Synchron and drawing a card. Then I removed my Light and Dark from the graveyard to bring out Chaos Sorcerer and removed his monster. At that point, I then synchroed Chaos Sorcerer and Formula Synchron into Scrap Dragon, activated Scrap Dragon's effect, blowing up 1 of the tokens and his back row, and then attacking directly for 2800. I ended up clearing his field, and I ended up clearing his field and leaving myself with a Scrap Dragon and a Goat token. So that was an amazing play that I was able to make because I'm running Formula Synchron. A lot of people, again, don't run Formula Synchron in this deck because they think, well, I'm never going to synchro with Effect Veiler. I'd much rather have all Exceed monsters. Well, you know what? Effect Veiler is a really good tuner, and it's a great hand trap, and you need to run it as a hand trap, but there are situations where you may have to use it as a tuner, so you still need to hold on to those synchro monsters and use them occasionally. So there you go, guys. That's what I played. I did rather well. I didn't do great. Gonna make some changes to the deck. And see if I can't do a little bit better next week. So I appreciate it, guys. Check back with me to see more of the Relinquished Chaos deck. And like always, guys, subscribe, comment down below, show us how much you love us.